What were some examples of people arrested during Prohibition? 2 agents of the U.S. Treasury, Izzy Einstein and Mo Smith, were celebrated for the innovative methods they used to shut down speakeasies. One chilly night, the two lingered outside of a notorious speakeasy expecting a shipment of alcohol. Mo takes Izzy, who is nearly frozen to death, to the bartender and asks for a drink to aid Izzy's ailments. Once the bartender obliges, the agents arrest him and shut down the establishment. The pair went on to make 4,000 arrests in 5 years, seizing 5 million bottles of illegal liquor. So that's just one incident of what happened to the people, or the example of people being arrested and who arrested them. What evidence was presented to get Prohibition passed? Alcohol established its presence in the American retail scene by establishing saloons, were areas where one could buy and sell alcohol. Saloon keepers would, in an attempt to gain more profit, resort to promoting gambling and prostitution through their business. This is what provided saloons with offensive or noxious reputations. Brewers were also predominantly German, and in the aftermath of World War I, there was still an abundance of anti-German sentiment nationwide. Which group popularized alcohol? There is no specific group. However, American culture at that time emphasized alcohol as a trait of the seasoned man. By the 1920s, alcohol had become so deeply entombed in the American scene or culture, which gave way to the male traits of dignity, courage, manhood, and liberation from hypocrisy. Alcohol was reputed to be the epitome of liberation and independence during the Roaring '20s for both genders. How did wealth affect punishment? Upon his visit to America, Felix van Luckner noted that those who were convicted were sentenced to jail time, and those who were wealthy enough had others sentenced to jail time for them. Also, as mentioned before, the movement to enforce the prohibition was weak and easily susceptible to bribery due to poor funding. So at that time, the judiciary system was kind of corrupt because people could easily kind of pay their own, because there was a lot of ways money could go, because you would have to pay a fine, and then if you're rich, obviously, you could pay that fine, or you'd have to get jail time, but you could bribe people in higher powers to kind of give you, to let you off easier. Was there a large event, or what was a large event caused by Prohibition? During the Prohibition, gangsters found profit through the illegal distribution of alcohol. The result was a rise in gang violence as the underground liquor market became increasingly competitive. On 1929, February 14th, Al Capone gunned down 7 of gangster George Bugs Moran's operation. This act of violence would be known as the Valentine's Day Massacre. So this was due to the rise in gang violence and a lot of gang wars, which occurred because a lot of gangsters established multiple speakeasies, and it was kind of really a territorial thing back then too, as well. Thank you for listening to this, me answering questions about the Prohibition.